know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one, that one. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince for this, and I am back here with another video. Today I am doing What If Shinra Was a Dragon Part 3, Adolla. Now before we get right into this, I made a playlist for this series. Go check it out, the first part and second, and I hope you enjoy this part. The Discord has changed. Like I said, we got hacked, and I'll put the new link to the new Discord down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and when you click it, say all, or you will not get all those notifications, because YouTube does that sometimes and you might be missing some of my videos. Anyway, let's get right into this part. Now, after going to Benimaru and helping defeat some Evangelists, the two companies would become closer and form a sort of alliance, like the 8th company did with the 5th, and they would just become closer as Shinra also heals Conroe fully and actually makes him stronger than before. And after this, Lick joins the 8th company, and the 8th company goes to recruit Vulcan, who is a kind of engineer. He's a genius. But things go wrong when the captain of the 3rd company attacks them. He turns out to be an evangelist the entire time and turn one of Vulcan's best friends against them. Luckily though, Shinra beat up Giovanni and the rest of the evangelists with Arthur's help. This is when Shinra would also meet Sho, and they would fight, and soon Sho starts to regain some of his memories but gets taken away. Luckily though, Shinra stops him but finds Sho passed out. Shinra would pick up his knocked out brother and walk out of the forest to find the workshop destroyed, and Arthur having knocked out Lisa. "Who is that kid?" Arthur would ask. He's my brother." Arthur, being shocked to hear this, notices that he's an evangelist and as such doesn't know how to react, and this is when Licht turns up with the 8th company's fire vehicle. "What the hell happened here?" he would ask. The wind then blows as we cut back to the 8th company, and the entire company then stands in front of Sho, who will be in a sort of capsule. This is something that Vulcan made on the spot, and he was going to come back and, make improvements. "Thanks. I know you didn't have to do this," Shinra would say. Vulcan then says, "You sure keeping this a secret is a good idea?" Obi then says, "I don't mind us keeping him here. I just wish you would have told us this sooner. It was my business, and I didn't want to drag any of you into it," Shinra would say. The others understand, but they also wish he would have just involved them a little bit. And after seeing this containment capsule, Shinra knows that he will definitely break out, so he closes his eyes as fire pulses out of Sho, and this forms a barrier around him. I use his own flames to trap him. This should be enough. So as they escort Vulcan out, Shinra begs Vulcan to come to the 8th, and he bows, but he says that he also understands if he doesn't want to actually join them, considering what happened with Lisa. Lisa actually managed to escape and left to join the Evangelist, and now everything was just a mess. Vulcan then asks for someone to come with him so he's safe, and he goes and visits his workshop for one last time. Meanwhile, Obi calls Benimaru for a favor. Now by the time Benimaru calls back, Vulcan would have actually returned and decided to work for the 8th company, as he wanted to help Shinra and meet Lisa again. We then cut to Shinra and Arthur standing in front of Conroe and Benimaru. "Why did I have to come here?" Shinra would ask. "Has somewhere else better to be?" asked Benimaru. Shinra doesn't answer, as they haven't told the other companies yet about Sho, but as he thinks of Sho, he starts to connect to Adola and appears where he was exactly in the same spot, but the same people he used to see every day have different distinct features now. "Arthur, what's wrong with you?" Arthur would have the face of someone not so knightly, and he instantly attacks Shinra, who snaps, intending to erase his power, but he disintegrated him entirely. Shinra's eyes would then flare up as Benimaru says, "He's one of them, isn't he? How is this boy here?" Now as soon as Shinra's eyes actually go back to normal, he opens them and they actually go slit-like, and Benimaru tries to attack him but is sent flying with a punch, and the same goes for Conroe, but Shinra doesn't care, as these aren't exactly the same people he's actually used to. He then looks around and everything is just dark. It's just filled with dark flames. It's the same place, but it's just dark flames everywhere, but every step he actually takes clears up the dark flames. "So this is Adolla, huh?" That burst of energy that filled his eyes actually helped him, regain a certain part of his memories that were locked away, and he gained some new information. However, as he's trying to figure out exactly how he got here, he's then brought back to the normal world with him being on the ground, and everyone is standing over him checking if he was okay. He then sits up asking what happened to him, and Conroe would say, "Suddenly it was like something possessed you, and your body just fell to the ground." Lake would have just come out of nowhere, as he always does, saying that Shinra's eyes were blazing until a few seconds later, and it was getting hard actually for him to get close because he was like showing off, he was like releasing a lot of fire, a lot of heat. Arthur then helps up Shinra and he looks at himself. Can I try something? He would ask. He tells everyone to step back and he focuses and starts floating without even using fire from under his feet, which shocks everyone. He's just using the pure heat pressure, like, around him. And he then makes the same hand signs he's seen Benimaru use. My control, it's improved, he would think. By rotating his other hand, he then draws out heat from the air and makes a circle of fire, which then shoots out a blast, creating normal flames that then go blue. Everyone in the town then sees this pillar of fire, which amazes them, and Shinra then lands with the twins saying in unison, "What the hell was that?" The twins that hang around Benimaru. "I changed my mind, let's train. Let's train as hard as we can." "You're a weird kid," Benimaru would say, but Shinra saying that he knows, and so they would, get to training. But Lick keeps a watchful eye on Shinra. Arthur would also spar with Connor, or Shinra would fight Benimaru, with the two using a training method that Benimaru just came up with, and they would use palm strikes to counter and strike. Right hand, left hand, going back and forth, and soon Benimaru would go to hit Shinra in the stomach, but he is then countered by Shinra, who holds his hand in place and proceeds to hit him in the face. That kid's pretty good, isn't he, Lick would think. But that little episode was definitely an Adola link. Now, as Benimaru was hit, he smiles, palm striking Shinra's hand out of the way, and he sends a combo of attacks at him, which Shinra proceeds to dodge with ease, when all of a sudden he would actually land a hit on Shinra's chest, but then Shinra would just puff out his chest, sending him flying, as he then appears above him and strikes him down in the chest. Luckily though, Shinra held back, and since this is, just training, he wasn't going to kill him or anything, and they continued fighting. And as for Arthur, he appears above Connor, slashing down, but Connor blocks with a wooden sword and kicks him in the stomach. But Arthur brushes this off since it's nothing compared to Shinra, and when he lands, he sweep kicks with Connor dodging and roundhouse kicking him in the face. And once again, Arthur gets up, and his eyes are just brimming with determination. Good, again. Meanwhile, we then see the Evangelist in the forbidden area of the Tokyo Empire called the Nether. This was basically the old train system, which was now underground, and the other train system was above. Humea, now being one of the only people, in the group of white clad, the Evangelist keeps walking back and forth, biting her nails, with Charon, a tall, dark, and buff man, asking her to stop because it is distracting. Behind him, we then see his men who help him use his ability, and encourage him, because he gathers kinetic energy, fire. And Humea would say, "How could I be calm, you idiot? The leader's gone." "Well, don't worry. I mean, one of our team said they'd be coming for us, so while they're gone, we can just go and take him back." "But what about that pillar? Shinra, he's too strong. It's unnatural." Ritsu, a woman with blue hair, then walks out with her followers behind her as she says, "Let us hold them off for a bit while you go get the leader. I'll create the ultimate soldier and destroy him." So before going to the Nether, Vulcan, who was now a new member, made some gadgets, giving Maki her iron owls, and after all the training is done, Vulcan drives everyone to the entrance of the Nether. Now, as they get out and look at the gate, Hinawa says Iris should do a prayer before they enter this empire's, forbidden land. And as she does and finishes the prayer, the gate would open with Shinra walking in first. Meanwhile, Charon goes with Humea to sneak into the 8th Company, and they find Sho in the fire prison with him still sleeping. So Humea tries to touch the prison and use her nation ability to cancel it, only for her to have her hands burned, and Charon laughs at this, making Humea smack him. "This isn't a joke anymore, that kid needs to die." Now as she says this, the fire prison creates a fire clone of Shinra, who then shows a demonic smile, and back to the real Shinra, Hiro just realized what happened, and he turned around telling his teammates that they found Sho. Now he can trap them. Now as the others hear this, they get happy when out of nowhere a mist rolls in, blinding everyone and splitting the group up, but Shinra keeps moving forward, activating his infrared vision. Soon the mist does clear up, and in the dark tunnels, he sees in front of him Lisa and Ritsu. "Hello, Fifth Pillar. I would appreciate it if you would come willingly," Ritsu would say. Shinra only smiles at this, saying, "I've been meaning to try a new move. As you know, your leader is my brother, and he's quite fast. Well, guess what? Not only am I going to surpass him, I'm going to surpass him and beat you to a pulp." Instantly, Shinra appears in front of Lisa, who tries to use her fire tentacles to block him, but then Shinra bursts through the tentacles, only to stop before hitting her, and he makes her pass out using heat syncope. Ritsu then backs away as Shinra then turns his head around, now fully focusing on her, but she then would smile, confusing Shinra, who then gets sent flying into a wall by a demon, which would have just been formed behind him, a demon infernal. "Don't get too cocky." Shinra, however, quickly gets out of the wall, not hurt in the least, making sweat drip down her cheek as the Infernal then roars, running at Shinra, who then makes a hand sign and makes a circular motion with his right hand, creating a sort of fire hoop in front of him and kind of creating an aiming sort of target thing. This soup then shoots out a blue beam which pierces the infernal wall, expanding in size, making the creature explode. Now at this point, Ritsu is frozen in fear as the fire hoop then points to her and Shinra makes a finger pistol saying, "Bang." She then gets a hole in her chest as she falls to the ground bleeding out, and Shinra then sees the smoke coming off his finger and blows it off, saying that he will name this move Trigun because he saw it in some anime and it sounds really cool. Shinra then looks back to see, a knocked out Lisa, and he goes over to pick her up, but when he goes to, he gets another Adolla link and he's surrounded by fire, and a giant girl appears in front of him smiling. She has blonde hair and clear blue eyes. "What the hell are you?" "Strange, you're not afraid." Shinra then ignores this girl, however, as for once he touches the flames, like the black flames surrounding him, and they actually start flowing into him, and this confuses the girl, who then glitches out, appearing in front of him in a normal size. "What is this? This shouldn't be... What the hell are you? How are you even here?" She then tries to take him out of Adolla, but then gets sent flying, stopping herself in mid-air, as this is when the personification of the Evangelist appears, wearing all white and having a cloak over its head. Shinra then looks up to see this person with this scale starting to appear, and he's going full dragon and cannot stop it. The Evangelist then smiles, grinning for once, which is something that actually kind of pisses Shinra off. But then he finds himself back in the Nether in his dragon form. Well, not fully, but he does have skills just covering from head to toe. Who was that lady? Whatever it is, but why do I feel like I know what it is? Unfortunately, right now, although Shinra wants to, he can't go back to his human form, and so he goes along with it for now and just stays how he is. He then picks up Lisa and starts walking, and soon the mist rolls in even more than before, but Shinra manages to find someone and runs through the mist to find Lick being held hostage, as someone will be behind him with a knife at his neck. "Shinra, help me!" The Evangelist then tells him to shut up, actually shaking a bit, and Lick smiles seeing this, but then he notices, "Wait, why do you have scales? You're only noticing that now?" Shinra would yell. The Evangelist then gets a hole in his head with Shinra using the Trigun, and Lick thinks him approaching him and, checking up on him. "These aren't formed by fire? These are real scales." "I'll tell you later." "Oh, no, you have to tell me now. Look, I know I'm just a new guy, but shouldn't you be more open with me, or the entire company?" Shinra then clenches his fist, saying that this is his problem, and as such he does not want anyone's help, and not that he really needs it anyway. "I understand, but I'm telling them anyway." "What if I knocked you out?" "Go ahead." Shinra then stares down Lick before just sighing and walking away, saying that even if the team knows, he has no plans of including them in his plans, And Lick says it's okay, but he is still going to tell everyone anyway, and they start moving together, with Shinra saying, "You're a bit nosy, but still, I'm glad you're okay. But stop being so nosy." Lick then thinks that this kid is actually pretty soft at times, despite how he acts, so this is the time when, there are actually battles going on, but there are less battles because the archer is captured. Shinra killed the illusionist when he and that person who can make a morning star, out of fire invaded Vulcan's home, and the rest of the remaining Evangelists just escape, allowing the team to kind of, meet up again because they're also scared. They're scared like shitless of Shinra, and that makes the 8th Company a threat as well, so it's a bit hard to beat them because they've also gone through power-ups. Now, when everyone sees Shinra, they're just kind of stunted. As Maki would say, "I honestly don't know what to say." "What? I grew skills, that's all." Obi then says, "Shinra, I don't know what to do, and it's been too much lately. You might need a checkup." As he lifts an eyebrow to this, we then find him sitting with his shirt off as Kayoko, the captain of the 6th Company, walks in with Obi, being shocked at what she sees. "So this is the patient. You have an Adolla burst, right?" Shinra says he does, as she then, checks on him, and his body has become completely hardened and he has fangs growing out, and at this point he actually has 2 horns popping out of his forehead. "You're our best soldier," Obi would say. "It wouldn't feel safe if people saw you like this. You kind of look an inferno right now." Kayoko then looks to Obi. "I'm sorry, I just can't help. This problem is clearly mental, not physical. The kid must have something that's keeping him down." This makes Shinra avert his eyes from his captains, as Obi then thanks Kayoko for coming over, and she leaves with Obi then saying that Shinra has to tell him and the team what's really going on. "I know you're strong, okay, but sometimes even strong people can't handle the pressure of keeping so many secrets. No one is perfect, honestly. There are things about you that just don't make sense, but I ignored it. I ignored them. You told me that you became a fire soldier to avoid attention, right? Well, whether you like it or not, you have our undivided attention." Walking out of the room, he then lets Shinra think this over, and soon night falls, and while everyone is eating together, Shinra walks in wearing a hoodie to hide his dragon features. He then sits down with everyone looking at him, waiting for his response, And he would say, look, I don't like to involve people in my business. But, well, look where it got me. He then takes off his hoodie, showing his horns, and they're clearly growing even more. And the scales were actually spreading way more, and he's basically just covered in scales now. So this is a mental problem, Hinawa would say. Shinra then says, yeah, I think it's time I told you guys what I've been dealing with and the full extent of my power. This makes everyone interested as he then tells them about how his mom kind of survived due to him, why Sho might have passed out, and he talks about his trip to Adolla, what he thinks is Adolla, what he sure is Adolla, and when he's done talking, they then say that honestly it's hard to believe. See, this is why, but, says Arthur, cutting him off, it's not impossible. I'm willing to believe you if this is that serious. Wilkin then says, yeah, even in your condition, you still thought about helping Lisa, not yourself. I don't think you're the type to lie like this. Lake then says, I'm simply stating facts. I know you're not lying, and after everything that's happened, it'd be illogical to doubt you now. I mean, just look at you. Shinra sees they clearly do want to support him and thanks them all for, listening to him. And he bows while doing this. Now, as he does, he finds some comfort, and it meant that he was starting to accept himself, and slowly his dragon features started disappearing. It's disappearing. It's gone. All of it. Thanks, guys. What then says it's fine. Now sit down and eat. This food's gonna go cold. So Shinra sits down and, he eats, and, yeah. Tomorrow he starts finding out what he can, and this also means that they have to report Sho's existence to other companies. The next day, to the shock of Karim and Leonard, the preacher is brought to them and they explain who Sho is and what happened up to this point. And Leonard then asks for a moment with Shinra outside while Obi stays in the place to help profile Sho. Now, when they're standing outside, Leonard would then ask, "That's really him? I think I remember my own brother. Yeah. This isn't that simple, kid. He's a terrorist. He's killed many by this point. Whether or not it was voluntary doesn't change the fact that he still did it. So what, you're gonna kill my brother? Are you saying he does not deserve such punishment? Don't push me, Burns." However, Leonard's eye then lights up with fire, this time being covered in a cloak made of fire, and this is his new final version of Voltage Nova. The two then stand unmoving as they don't want to fight, but they can't tell what the other's intention is, and then they start walking around, circling around while keeping eye contact. I won't deny what he did, but killing him would just make us terrorists as well. And personally, I don't care about your empire. I just want my family back. Then why didn't you save your mother that day? Instantly, as he said this, Leonard realized he hit a nerve, and he gets burnt on the side of his shoulder, seeing Shinra's hand burning with blue fire, shocking him as he barely dodges another attack, jumping up. However, as he does, Shinra appears, axe kicking him down, breaking the ground below. Shinra then gives him no time to move, and he lands on top of him, putting his foot at his throat. I don't want to hurt you, but you crossed the line. You're right. But you can't just do whatever you want. We are not God, Shinra. We're just men who have been endowed with incredible abilities. These words ring in his ears with Shinra's eyes flaring up, but then he starts to lose consciousness. But his eyes are still full of life, as we then see Shinra folding over what looks like a volcano area. Oh, god damn it, not another link. But a bright light is then seen, and it amazes him, but then this light turns into what we called destruction incarnate. This was the cataclysm. And as Shinra watches the explosion occur, in the middle of it, a creature was born, a dragon, but the rest of the fire spread for another entity, the Evangelist, to be born. Why am I seeing this? Wait, I've seen this before, actually. He remembers the vision he kept having of the great explosion at the mention of anything related to fire or combustion, but then the dragon, this magnificent creature, stares at Shinra, which puts him in a different vision, and he sees barren land, just a destroyed land. This would be the aftermath of the cataclysm. He sees the suffering it causes and how bad overall it is. It's terrible. Indeed. And it's my fault. Shinra then turns around to see he is now inside a flame, a multicolored flame, and in front of him will be a flying dragon. What the hell is this bullshit? Language, the dragon would say. No, screw this. Let me go back where I was. They're gonna take away my brother. I don't have time for this Adola stuff. The dragon then apologizes, confusing Shinra, as he then says that he actually resides in the boy's body, and as such, Shinra is a dragon and basically his incarnation. That's why I kept having those weird flashes and feeling those emotions. It was your conscience breaking through. My birth created what humans now call the cataclysm, so I seek to change this, but there are certain circumstances that complicate things, the dragon would say. The dragon then talks about how him coming into being created the alternate reality called Adolla, And a part of him is what people call the Evangelist. This entity seeks to turn the Earth into a second sun, so other versions, people in this alternate universe, can live on it while they kill everyone who belonged on Earth to begin with. You have the power to stop the Evangelist and save your family, but you must accept that you have this power. If you subconsciously fight it, it will trigger a transformation. You may end up hurting your friends or doing the Evangelist's job for them. This news shocks Shinra as he realizes that he's basically a ticking time bomb. However, his nervous tick then kicks in, making him smile as he told the dragon that he would take care of it. I've had years to train these abilities. I'm starting to finally understand some things. Don't worry, I got this. Everything then goes black and Shinra finds himself in his room and he sits up, walking out to see Sister Iris sleeping on the floor. So he picks her up and actually walks to her room and puts her down on her bed. I can't really keep you guys out of this, can I? Wait, show. Shinra then runs to Obi's office, but as he opens it, he sees Burns, Hibana, Benimaru all here. Where's my brother? Oh, you're finally up, Obi would say. What do you mean by that? I was only out for a few hours, right? Benimaru then laughs, saying that Shinra's been out for 3 days straight, surprising him as he then looks at Burns, who sighs, saying that Show's situation is still being discussed. Damn it! So what now? Obi then taps him on the shoulder. As he looks up, Obi says, all they can do is testify and hope for the best. After this, the captains try to do their best to do what they can for Shinra, especially Hibana, because, love. The next few days would consist of Shinra dealing with knowing the truth about everything, and his teammates try to cheer him up, and Shinra visits Sho, who is still in prison and has not woken up yet. The team still does their best for the Fire Force calendar, but this time they get more exposure due to Shinra's popularity and notoriety. And one day, Shinra is called into Obi's office saying that he should go and talk to the captain of the Sith Brigade to maybe find a way to wake up Sho. However, he gets nothing there except a reunion with one of his best friends called Ogun and the rest of his old members in the academy. Things aren't really getting better, and Shinra just keeps trying to force an Adola link, but soon the Evangelist will be on the move again. Shinra will be riding in a fire vehicle with Vulcan driving it, as Obi would describe what they were going to combat. It's a case of spontaneous fires, but it's not infernal related. This might be them again. But the perpetrator is also thought to be a high school girl. Seriously? Maki would ask. Yep, wherever fires show up, she does as well. Shinra, I think you should go ahead and scout and take out the fires. We don't have time to make it there in time. Shinra then nods as he opens up the latch above and he climbs out, standing on top of the fire vehicle with his feet burning. He then blasts towards where he sees smoke, and he makes it to the area very fast, landing on one of the rooftops, snapping his fingers, as this is when we go to a different point of view. Inka will be pointing to where the fires would pop up, starting to freak her partner/friends out a little bit, and they were behind her. Oh, and that place is next, she would say, as she points to one of the houses and fire would burst out of it, only to then disappear completely, shocking her. That's weird. Well, that building is next, but the building doesn't blow up as we then zoom in on Shinra, who has just gotten an Adola link. Annoying pests. Shinra then goes and takes care of the other fires, sensing where they were gonna pop up, and back to Inka, she starts to get interested, but one of her partners would say, boss, maybe we shouldn't stick around. However, Inka turns back with a smile that concerns the two as she says that she just can't help it. I have to find out how this is possible. She then runs towards the city, heading for the houses with her partners falling behind begrudgingly. However, as they run towards, the place, Charon appears where they were standing with a huge grin, as he starts following behind slowly with the group not being completely aware. Now when they make it into the cities though, this is when Inka's power starts to fully awaken as she dodges Charon, seeing the line of fire and seeing where he was going to attack. Charon then crashes into the ground looking back at Inka, who steps back in fear. Guys, leave now. What do you mean? You're coming with us, right? Inka's heart was beating fast and crazily with her just being full of adrenaline, and right now, even though she was scared, she didn't care because it was exciting. Charon then gets up, cracking his neck. Come with me already. You are the fifth pillar, are you not? What is that? Inka would ask. This makes Charon confused for a bit, but then he realizes that she has to be the fifth pillar because she clearly dodged them. Look, I don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. We need to get going before that guy comes. What guy? Inka would ask. Charon would then be grabbed by the head as he is then smashed into the concrete, obviously head first, with Shinra arriving on the scene. It means me, he would say. Boss, we should stay away from this guy. Just look at his eyes. For a fire soldier, he doesn't exactly look nice or comforting. Shinra's eyes would have just gone dragonic, and he was losing his patience. Will Inka join Shinra? Will the Evangelist somehow bring her to their side? And how will Shinra stop the plans of the Evangelist now that he actually knows the truth? Find out in the upcoming parts. It's been me, Prince of What Ifs, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Goodbye.